So the first thing I wanted to ask you about is where is this place above ATH? And yes, that's a play on words because ATH is the token, it's the ticker. Where is this place beyond ATH that Aether is heading to? What is like the 1 year goal? And stepping back a little bit from there, what made you want to do this in the first place?
Sure. I'll start with maybe the origin story, the desire to build Aether. We actually started more on the gaming side of things, right? My co-founder and I were both big gamers. Dan was very early on at Riot Games before kind of following their journey through, took League of Legends through its acquisition and the Riot acquisition by Tencent, where he was a COO, and then kind of left that to start his own ventures and partner with me to build Aether. We were kind of motivated by this idea that there was all of this great gaming content out there, but the vast majority of gamers were restricted from accessing it as a result of their hardware, right? You needed a gaming PC, you needed a console, you needed a high-end phone, right? There's 3.3 billion gamers out there. 2 point something billion of them game on low-end devices. They can't play League of Legends. They can't play World of Warcraft or Counter-Strike, all of those games that kind of Dan and I grew up loving. And we thought, how do you fix that? How do you kind of unlock those gamers in a way that gives them access to all of that content, but also, gives big gaming publishers access to those users, right? Because that's a massive untapped market for them. And really the only way to do it was to abstract away their requirement to have the hardware themselves. And the GPU cloud and its ability to render in real time was a technical solution, right? It was largely just a question of how do you scale that technology, right? You had Google Stadia in the US. It was delivering a solution that was, very, very promising, but they couldn't get this tech out of the US, out of like Western Europe, right? And why scale a technology like that to a market where everyone can already afford a gaming PC or a PS, right? And we thought that the best way to do that was on the back of a decentralized compute network, right? The unit economics of scaling infrastructure like that is very, very different. Also, there's some latency benefits with how distributed compute networks are able to deliver compute workloads closer to users. And that was kind of the original spark for us. Now, funnily enough, that forced us down a couple of paths early on that really put us in a fantastic position to kind of expand our offering into AI quite quickly. But the main one was that no one complains more than a gamer if their experience is poor, right? If there's any lag, if there's any downtime.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, exactly. So we had to build this network in kind of an enterprise capable way, right? It really needed to be able to meet the standards that these gaming companies were requiring of us so that their customers weren't complaining to them all the time. And that forced us away from retail hardware and towards this enterprise first approach. And as a result, we built what was effectively the first enterprise grade DPIN, right? A DPIN built on the back of enterprise grade equipment. And from there, we realized that a bunch of enterprise grade GPUs in the cloud were pretty valuable for AI as well. And we started to kind of scale up there. So it was initially a gaming focused mission that kind of kicked Aether into gear. But in a sense, it's largely the same mission we have with AI, right? Which is making these resources available to anyone, right? Not just the biggest tech companies in the world or people that have the deepest pockets.
So you saw a big bottleneck was the capability of a device to render. So the device was the bottleneck for gamers, and gamers will complain. So any way to get a gamer to play their game faster or have lower latency, higher frames per second, any of those things was a net benefit for everyone. And your solution was decentralized GPU cloud, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. The funny thing is, when you talk about cloud gaming, a lot of I guess more privileged gamers like myself, right, would always kind of be critical. Okay, can a cloud gaming service deliver to me, crisp, perfect, latency-free FPS? Like, can I get out and play kind of pro level Apex Legends, pro level CS with a cloud gaming service? And you mostly can, but the service is not for people like you or me, right? The service is for people that have zero, right? And if you can give someone that has zero opportunity to play that content something that's 85, 90% of the way to a perfect experience, that is incredible.
Well, I think we see that already with the level of mobile gamers and casual gamers. Like they are not looking to play Elden Ring at max settings. They want to play their the
Yeah,
gem games or whatever on the train or maybe even in their bed without needing a giant rig to play it. So that
100%.
that tracks. That tracks. They don't need to have 100%.
No,
It's totally unnecessary and it's not what they want even. They want to be able to just play the games that they want to play in their hands.
exactly. And not every game is going to, port perfectly to a mobile experience, right? But a lot of games will, and it's probably going to be the more strategic, less fast twitch style gameplay that ports best, right? League of Legends, for example, great example, great kind of game that ports to mobile.